Tonight, 4 SA Liberal MPs crossed the floor to oppose a controversial mining bill affecting local farmers. And thousands of Port Lincoln residents left without power after a car collided with a Stobie pole.
This is Southern Cross News with Abby Donaldson.
Good evening. 4 Liberal government MPs have voted with the Labor opposition to delay a final vote on the controversial mining reforms in South Australia. Member for Narungga, Fraser Ellis, says it shouldn't be rushed through Parliament before conducting adequate consultation with local farmers.
Premier Stephen Marshall's party room fell into disunity after Nick McBride, Fraser Ellis, Steve Murray and Dan Cregan voted alongside Labor to halt the passing of a controversial mining bill.
Adjourn debate on the mining bill until late February to give farmers a chance to complete harvest, enjoy Christmas and feed the nation prior to turning their attention to what is quite an impactful bill for them.
Member for Narungga, Fraser Ellis, was emboldened by the presence of his constituents, a large group of farmers from the Yorke Peninsula who crowded the chamber. Mr Ellis said farmers want a better deal and stronger land rights, with many feeling that the Liberal Party had reneged on their election promise to conduct further consultation with the farming community before ratifying a new mining act.
They promised us that they would consult with us before they brought the act forward, before they went to the election, and we believe them.
I want them to do the right thing by farming. We haven't got very much farming land. We need to use what we've got to the best of its capability rather than digging it up and making it unusable.
The mining minister has dismissed any party division, reiterating the party encourages its members to follow what's in the best interests of its constituents.
I respect the fact that every member of parliament needs to do the best that he or she do to get the best deal possible for his or her electorate. But I also have a responsibility as a minister to get the best deal possible for the state.
The bill will return for debate in February. Dominic Beaton, Southern Cross News.
Thousands of Port Lincoln residents were left without power after a car smashed into a Stobie pole in the early hours of this morning. Casey Trelaw has the details.
Nearby residents claim they heard a car doing burnouts from about 1 a.m. this morning. It's alleged the screeching tyres came to a halt at 3 a.m. when a white Commodore smashed into a Stobie pole here on Verron Terrace.
There appears to be skid marks prior to the collision, but the damage that was caused to the Stobie pole would indicate excessive speed was certainly at play. With
the car hitting the pole with considerable force, it left more than 4,000 Port Lincoln customers without power until about 6 a.m.
SA Power Networks were on scene quite early this morning, because I understand they had no power at home themselves, so they were there quite early. They've done their assessments. They were actually able to stabilise the Stobie pole with a crane and some other equipment.
The road was closed all morning while SA Power Networks worked tirelessly at the scene. By lunchtime today, they were able to remove the damaged pole and have it replaced. Now it's understood the 20-year-old male driver was taken to hospital with minor injuries, and police will later follow up with the alleged traffic offences.
For the first time in a decade, teachers at government schools around South Australia will close their doors tomorrow as teachers prepare to walk off the job. The strike action comes after failed funding negotiations between the Australian Education Union and the state government. A number of government schools and preschools will be closed until 12:15 p.m. on the day, including Port Augusta, Port Pirie and Whyalla. Any parents unsure about revised operating hours are urged to contact their school. Farmers and tourists in the far north are set to benefit from the launch of a new Telstra tower to improve mobile coverage. It's hoped the site outside of Hawker will be the first of many to reduce outback black spots.
For anyone driving north of Hawker, getting reception on your mobile phone can be a challenge. But a new Telstra tower at Wanaka Hill could be the solution, improving the coverage on the road towards Wilpena Pound.
This will actually open it up and you'll have continuous coverage, tens of kilometres up that road.
The 50-50 funding partnership between Telstra and the federal government, plus a number of stakeholders, will add telecommunications transmissions to an existing 55-metre high radio tower.
So you can imagine the height is outstanding, perfect for mobile infrastructure.
It's hoped increased mobile reception will be a big selling point for urban tourists.
They actually expect the same service and connectivity that they get in the city and urban areas. So, we're trying to cater for those as well as residents.
But also for local residents and farmers. many of whom need connectivity to efficiently operate their businesses.
It's a new world, and mobile coverage in these areas is really important to facilitate that.
Work on the $800,000 project will begin shortly, with the hope of completion by early 2019. Many are hopeful this tower will be the first of many in the far north.
So this project is actually a first step towards improving the mobile coverage throughout the rest of the region.
Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
Port Pirie's latest quarterly analysis of lead levels in children's blood has seen mixed results. There's been a decrease in lead levels of children tested in the first 9 months of the year, yet a handful of individual cases are 2 times over what's considered a dangerous level.
The latest quarterly report into blood levels in Port Pirie children has shown a spike in levels above 20 decilitres. 12 kids have been reported to have figures twice as high, which the National Health and Medical Research Council warn can cause bodily harm.
For children who've gone above 20, which is a concern, and they've gone up compared with this time last year.
An increase in lead in the blood of children between the ages of 0 and 4 years can have significant impact on their health during such a crucial developmental period of their lives. High doses of lead can affect both body function and organs in adults and children.
We tend and can see a decrement in the IQ of the population.
The rise in some children has been anticipated, and the targeted lead abatement program has ramped up efforts to remove harmful dust from public spaces and people's homes. Childcare centres, playgrounds and building surfaces which are deemed critical locations are being vacuumed and pressure washed by TLAP staff. Dr. Simon also expressed the importance of a functioning community.
Those children may not reach their full potential, but there is a lot of factors that control the potential a child can reach. So a loving nurture environment is far more important than being exposed to lead.
Dominic Beaton, Southern Cross News.
Whyalla residents are being urged to dig deep and help the city's relief agencies deliver some Christmas joy. They're looking for toy donations that'll go towards helping less fortunate kids enjoy the festive season.
For most of us, December is the most wonderful time of the year. Christmas is a chance to gather as a family, share a meal and give gifts. But for many, it's a difficult period as they struggle to make ends meet.
We know there are lots of people out there who are finding it really tight in terms of money and being able to support people within their families.
Centrecare and a number of local relief agencies are once again joining forces. Their annual relief appeal will see 450 food hampers distributed throughout the city, with food banks supplying the produce. And for the first time this year, locals are invited to self-register through Whyalla's Centrecare office.
It takes about 5 minutes to do, and we will be asking a series of questions. But please don't be embarrassed to do that. There are many people out there in need.
Residents can also play a part. They're looking for toy donations, which can be dropped off outside the local target and will then be distributed to parents.
It's a way of helping parents feel positive about the Christmas experience and how they can provide for their children as well.
Ms Forsyth says she hopes Whyalla continues to be thoughtful and generous, as they have in the past.
We are very lucky here in Whyalla, and so we want to say thank you to everyone out there.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, the new Whyalla Council selects a familiar face as Deputy Mayor for the next 12 months, and Port Augusta's Platform Gallery thriving 3 years on since they were forced to relocate. Hello again. The new Whyalla Council has selected a familiar face as Deputy Mayor for the next 12 months. Ricky Santucci was elected for the second time in 3 years, vowing to have a constructive relationship with the Mayor.
As Whyalla Council begins a fresh term, they've turned to an experienced hand as Deputy Mayor. Three-term councillor Rick Santucci was elected to the role on Monday night and will serve for 12 months. He says he can't wait to get started.
A prosperous future for our city and with the new council and GFG, so looking forward to it greatly.
Mr Santucci won the ballot, defeating new councillors Joanne Marshall and Phil Stone. It's the second time in 3 years he's been elected to the role. He says his main focus will be to support new Mayor Claire McLaughlin in her role, wherever she needs it.
Make myself available whenever she needs some advice or support, or just to step in there with her and help help guide.
As expected from a GFG employee, he's looking forward to the transformation of the steelworks and Whyalla itself, but he also wants to tackle other issues, including getting the new Whyalla High School over the line and reducing unemployment.
I'd love to see that diminish dramatically and just see there's some real positive feelings in the town.
And he's also ready to mentor the new faces.
A bit of experience in my other mainstream job has prepared me to be able to work with groups.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
An online survey asking Broken Hill locals about their thoughts on reopening the Imperial Lakes has returned overwhelmingly positive results. The poll was conducted by the 25 in 25 committee asking residents if they support a re-engineering of the area. Over 1,800 results were tallied, with 97% voting in favour. The Imperial Lake has been closed for over 30 years. Meantime, the Menindee Lakes and the Murray River Pipeline look set to dominate discussions at tonight's Broken Hill Council's meeting. One motion will be for the councillors to oppose the reconfiguration of the lake system.
2 meetings to go, but no sign of slowing down.
Tonight on the agenda, although there's only, I think, about 16 items, there's some serious issues to discuss.
One of the issues will be the Menindee Lakes. With the Murray River Pipeline edging closer to completion with water soon expected to be flowing through it, many people in the far west are concerned about the lake system's future. Some worry because Broken Hill will be supplied by the pipeline, the system will no longer be needed. A motion will be heard tonight, calling on the council to oppose any future reconfigurations.
Our community is concerned about the Menindee Lakes, and the community are concerned what the government has done to the Darling River.
Another motion tabled is calling for legislation to ensure Broken Hill ratepayers will not be responsible for any costs related to the Wentworth pipeline. The operational and maintenance costs of the project will be covered for the next 4 years. After that, it's uncertain.
I've already written to the Minister to ask them to lock that in, that this should be major infrastructure. I've already done that. So I kind of think that it kind of complements. So the messages, the intent of Councillor Kennedy's motions complements the way Council's going forward. So it's good to see.
Tonight's meeting has just got underway at the local council chambers. Patrick Ryankey, Southern Cross News.
Management of Port Augusta's Platform Gallery say they're once worried for the art group's future after they were forced to relocate their operations in 2015. Now, 3 years on, the program is thriving, with visitation numbers the highest they've ever been.
For 54 years, the Platform Gallery has offered like-minded creatives an environment to share their designs with one another.
I did that one the day they were doing a watercolour workshop. Oh yeah.
But after their home of 46 years at the old railway site was transferred by the state government, they were asked to leave. The group was worried that they couldn't rebuild.
We didn't have a lot of money in the bank. Our membership had declined over recent years.
They instead painted a positive picture, jumping at the opportunity to relocate to the Platform Gallery. And 3 years on, the artists are feeling more green than red.
We've got over 70 members now, and we have had quite a few sales.
An estimated 60 visitors came through the doors on a Saturday, compared with a weekly visitation of 10 people at the old site. 94-year-old Melville Waterman is an inaugural member of the group, which began in 1969. She says it's positioned better than ever.
Whatever avenue you're thinking of, there's nothing but plus.
They now even have the financial backbone to fund and sponsor artists, many of whom are involved in the gallery's Christmas exhibition, including Melville.
I'm happy to be alive to be able to still do it.
Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
The Australian seafood industry is looking to better promote its image to the general public by engaging with Port Lincoln Fisheries to get involved in their brand new project called Our Pledge.
A promise to actively communicate with the Australian community about the nation's prosperous seafood industry.
One of the things that we think is really important is that the industry finds a way to actively respond to some of communities' concerns.
Some of these concerns include environmental impacts, seafood stocks, fish health, as well as the mental health of the fishermen.
The Australian seafood industry is doing great work to meet those industry concerns, but we're not doing a great job of communicating what we're doing back out to community.
So in September, a project called Our Pledge was developed from a similar program in New Zealand. And this week, the industry body met with Port Lincoln leaders and stakeholders from the tuna, kingfish and prawn fisheries to get involved.
Port Lincoln Seafood is absolutely on the right track, and I'd have to say they accepted and had a great conversation with us about our pledge yesterday, so it was met with a great deal of enthusiasm.
But we just want to make sure it's authentic, and we've had some input and we can deliver that to the community.
In various workshops, the industry body was pleased to hear positive news coming from the tuna fishery.
We need to recognise that internationally the quota for southern bluefin tuna is managed, and it's gone up for the first time in a long time.
Seafood Industry Australia's Our Pledge Roadshow is visiting many fisheries nationwide and will head to Perth tomorrow. Casey Treloar, Southern Cross News.
Well, stay with us because after the break we'll have your local forecast, and we're in for some gorgeous conditions to end the week before a very hot start to summer on Saturday. I'll have all the details next. Welcome back. Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather. It was a mostly fine day around the Gulf today, with maximums reaching the low to mid-20s, Broken Hill 25 the top. Taking a look at the satellite, and cloud covering much of SA is due to a trough and is causing some showers over much of the eastern and central inland, and a few showers in the west and north as well, but skies are mostly clear everywhere else. On the waters for your Thursday, a sea breeze up to 15 knots, seas at 2 metres with a south-southwesterly swell, and the sun will pop up just after 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, and sunset will be at 8:12. Nothing but gorgeous sunny skies tomorrow, and it's warming up slightly too. Port Augusta, Woodna and Broken Hill all heading for a top of 27 degrees. Port Pirie 25 the top, and 23 is the magic number for Whyalla, Clare, Cleve and Kadina. Mostly fine on Friday too, as temps soar back into the 30s for Cleve and Woodna. Port Lincoln and Cleve could see a shower here or there for the first day of summer on Saturday, but temps will dip back down into the 20s for Sunday. Port Lincoln heading for a milder top of 21 degrees. Warming up gradually tomorrow and Friday, with temps getting back into the 30s for all centres for Saturday, with the odd shower forecast as well. Port Augusta very hot, 38 the top for you. Whyalla 35, but temps will drop down quite dramatically for Sunday. Whyalla and Kadina both heading for a top of 24 degrees. A similar story here, Port Pirie sunny and 29 to end the working week, warming up to 36 degrees for Saturday, a scorcher, and Broken Hill a very hot 37. Again, Port Pirie and Clare could see the odd shower, but it will cool down for Sunday to quite pleasant temperatures. And that's all the local news this Wednesday. Thanks for your company. I'm Abby Donaldson. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.